Hi Sagittarius, happy birthday and welcome to your December 2019 Astrology 33 bonus love reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, I actually won't be offering those until the second week of December. So just keep an eye out on the channel. I'll make an announcement when I'm actually sure of what date that'll be. But yeah, like I said, definitely somewhere in the second week of December. Alright, as far as what we have here, this is why I call it a bridging the gap spread, and the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. And these are past energies, present energies, future energies. Once we get through those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards to gain some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. And as far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. Alright, so get started with your main spread. In the past position, we have Triumph. So this is actually the equivalent of the World card. So for some of you, this can just be saying that you wrapped up a cycle with someone. And maybe this even has to do with the fact that you've had Jupiter, which is your ruler, moving through your sign, and now actually as we get into early December, it's going to be moving into Capricorn. So maybe this is just saying that for you guys, given that it is your ruler, you've just completed a big cycle recently. So that can be within the relationship or separate from it too. So let's say, for example, maybe in the past some of you might have gotten some kind of a promotion, let's say, or maybe you got some job offer that would have taken you far away, right? Since we do see the world there in the background. So that could be what's at play for some of you, saying that maybe you guys actually had to separate from them. Because again, triumph is a completion. So it can just be saying that you might have had to end the relationship because you had to move away to take an offer elsewhere. So that could be how it's playing out for some of you. For others of you, this can actually be saying that you came back together in the past because maybe you were away. So I'm definitely getting some kind of a distance theme in the connection in general, but it would just play out differently as for whether some of you actually moved away recently in order to pursue something, or you actually ended up coming back to them recently. Past energy on their side, we actually got a few cards that came up. We have the Death card, the Eight of Chalices, and the Empress. So, to me, well, for one, this is a major arcana card that represents Scorpio. This is actually a Pisces energy, the first 10 degrees of Pisces, and then this actually usually represents Taurus energy, even though the Hierophant is their main card. So, what this can be saying is maybe even around the time of the Taurus full moon, since we see the Scorpio energy with the Empress energy, they might have actually decided to separate from the connection with you. And the reason I say that, Eight of Cups usually represents looking for something more emotionally fulfilling. So that brings to mind what I was saying, that maybe some of you actually had to move away for something. Like I said, maybe you got some kind of a job offer, maybe some of you are going away to school or something along those lines. And maybe you would have been fine with continuing the relationship, right? Because, I mean, you're one of the signs who does well with the long distance thing, but maybe this person wasn't really feeling it. So maybe around the time of that full moon in Taurus, they might have actually let you know that, okay, well, I'm looking for something, more traditional as far as a relationship where I live in the same city as the person, right? So they might have actually decided to end the connection with you. And that could be what the completion is pointing to there as well, saying that they might have ended things for that reason, which led to a completion in the connection. So that could be how that's playing out there. Try to see if anything else comes to mind with those energies, but not really. I mean, the only other thing I would say is with the Empress energy, sometimes that could be a bit of a stubborn energy too, as far as, feeling a bit entitled. So that's another way it could be playing out for you guys too. In the present position, we have the Nine of Coins and the Ten of Swords. So there's a few different ways I could see this playing out too. Again, if they did end up separating the connection with the two of you in the past, this can just be saying that, given that this is a Virgo energy, maybe you really just threw your energy into your career. So, it's unsure of which came first, whether you actually moved away for your career and then they ended the connection, or they ended the connection and then you ended up focusing more on your career. But that's the main vibe that I'm picking up on there, regardless of which of those two ways it plays out. And then with the Ten of Arrows, this represents an ending, and then this is actually a Gemini card, which is your opposite sign. So seeing those two cards together could just be saying that, maybe you actually decided to go with the career success and sacrifice the relationship in the process, basically. That's what I'm seeing there. But this doesn't necessarily have to play out that way. Another way this energy could play out too, this is actually referred to often as the single woman energy. So this could also be saying that for some of you, what you did there was you actually decided to give up living that single life, right? Putting an end to that cycle and actually committing to the connection. So that could be what was at play there too. So for example, maybe this played out more like an ultimatum, right? They were like, oh, well, I don't really want to be in this type of connection, right? So maybe you actually weighed the pros and cons. And for some of you might have decided, all right, well, yeah, this is cool and all, but I'd like something a little more too. So that could be how it's playing out for some of you at least. And as far as timing, maybe this energy shift is something you're going to feel around the time of the Gemini full moon, which would make sense. That's, around the middle of December. Present energy on their side, we have the Queen of Swords. So this is actually a court card for Libra, and that could be who you're dealing with. But for you guys, this is actually your 11th house Libra energy. So this can't even just be saying that maybe the two of you decide to be friends for the two of you for the scenario where you did actually split up. And maybe you just decided it was for the best. Like, okay, yeah, I understand, right? I'm going to be doing my own thing wherever. So maybe you guys actually decided, all right, well, let's just remain friends for the time being. But I definitely pick up on the distance theme here again, because it looks like she's staring at a painting of the guy. So it's like they're not physically with them, but she's definitely thinking of them. So that could be what's going on there. For some of you, this could even be a military thing too, because I mean, I look at the person in the painting and they're a soldier. So, maybe that was as simple as that. Maybe you got deployed, for example. So that could be what's at play there. Trying to see if anything else comes to mind. But again, this could also, since Libra is the natural ruler of the 7th house, this could just be emphasizing that this person wants something serious. And it could even, again, point to that ultimatum energy I was mentioning, as far as she has her back to the cards in this side, which is to say that she's like, well, this is what I want, and that's it, So it could very much be like a take it or leave it type energy this person might have. And I could see what I would call as a clash with you guys, but that's a whole other story. And then the future energy on your side, we have the 8 of Cups. So, ironically, we saw they had that energy in their past, and now you have it in the future energy. So, same vibe, basically. Again, it's that Pisces energy, which is to say, moving on, looking for something more fulfilling. But what's interesting is that for you guys, Pisces is your 4th house of home and family. So this can just be saying that with this in your future energy, this is you deciding that you do want to pursue something more traditional. And like I said, for some of you, we saw that maybe that was what was going on, as far as the 9 of coins with the 10 of arrows could have been pointing to you deciding, all right, well, maybe being single and having this, heavy focus on career is cool, but I do want something more, right? So maybe that's what you've been exploring. And maybe, again, with the energies of the full moon in Gemini, maybe that brings that up to the surface for you to look at. So then in the future, you might decide, yeah, you know what, I would actually like something more traditional. So maybe you do come back home, for example. Because here it could even look like maybe she's going back to the person, right? Like they're just laying down there and she could be returning. So that could be how it's playing out for some of you. And what makes it even more interesting is at the bottom of the deck, we have the 2 of arrows on your side, which to me shows that you probably are torn in some way. Some of you probably are like, yeah, well, you know what, I'm just going to forego the relationship right now and focus on my career, right? So maybe it was an offer too good to pass up for some of you. So you're like, wow, this is a really great opportunity. I have to take it. And then the other person just might not have really been game for that. Like, well, I want something more traditional. And like I said, maybe you guys decide, all right, well, we could remain friends in the meantime. But, obviously they didn't want a relationship that way. And then for others, you just could be saying that you're looking at, okay, well, yeah, I have this career focus right now, but is it fulfilling me? So that could be what the two of arrows represents, where you guys are really on the fence of keeping the independence and being single, or actually pursuing the relationship. And interestingly enough, beneath that we have love, which is the equivalent of the lover's card. So again, this is another indicator of me, for me anyway, of Gemini energy. So definitely keep an eye out on that full moon. You might get some more of an idea of which way you want to go with that. And future energy on their side, if I can pick it up, there we go, is King of Swords. So this could play out a few different ways. This is a court card that represents Aquarius energy. So on the one hand, that is your third house of communication. So this could just be saying that in the future, you guys might exchange a lot of communication with each other, maybe around whatever your decision might end up being. But for others of you, this can also point to maybe they're coming off as even more detached now, again, because like I said, if it seems like for some of them, they might have really just dug their feet in, like, well, this is the way I want the connection to be. And, they're not really willing to give on that at all. So that could be how the energy is playing out for some of you as well. But definitely a lot of air energy here. So you could be dealing with an air sign. And then in another way too, though, you could also look at this as some growth as well, going from the queen to the king energy. So maybe this is saying that maybe they're maturing and maybe they're giving it a lot of thought as well with these cards representing sword energy. So maybe there can be some compromise in that regard. And then the bottom of the deck on their side, they have the 10 of Pentacles. So this is actually Virgo energy as well. Like we said here, we see the 9 of Coins on your side. The 10 of Pentacles, though, represents that fulfillment, that stability, that family environment. So can just be pointing to the fact that this is what they view as very important to them, right? Which is why I'm saying it seems like they might have dug their feet in. If you have some kind of setup where you're not really going to be able to be in the same city as them, they might have said, well, I want something more traditional. And maybe that's because, that's really what they value. And for others of you, this could just be saying that, this is what they're bringing to the table too. So for some of you, if you do decide that you would rather pursue the connection with them, that could be pointing to what the ultimate potential is for the connection there. But we'll see what the oracle cards add to the mix. So first we'll see if we can get anything from the Mystic Moon Oracle deck I have here. And for those of you who haven't seen these types of readings from me before, what I do is actually pre-shuffle this deck, and then what I'm looking for here is jumpers. So first I'll look to see if there's any unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you after that. And if nothing comes up after a while, I just take that as a sign to just keep it moving. I'm not going to force it and pull a card from the top or anything like that, since it's just a general reading anyway. So let's see if we get anything from them to you first. Or from you to them, excuse me. All right, nothing coming up yet, but I'll shuffle a little more, see if we get anything. Got one there. And then we'll see if there's any unspoken messages from them to you. All right, nothing coming up there, but I'll give it a few more shuffles before we give up. All right, yeah, nothing there, but like I said, it seems like they're pretty sure of themselves anyway. As far as, like I said, it looks like they're digging their feet in, and they definitely want something more traditional. So it doesn't look like they're willing to really change that. And then it looks like you guys might be on the fence about it. So with that, especially with the 2 of Arrows energy at the bottom of the deck. But it says, something is still missing for me, and I'm trying to figure out what that is. So maybe that's what it is too. Like I said, for some of you guys who are coming across as a bit more non-committal, right? Maybe you're on the fence. You're like, all right, well, I'm having this great career success, but then with the two arrows, you're like, yeah, but so like you're still trying to figure out in your mind if you do want to commit or not. That's primarily what I'm picking up on there. And then we'll see if we get anything from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. So same situation here. I did pre-shuffle this deck, and then I'm just looking for one card here. Then we'll wrap up. Okay. Interesting. At least on the surface, this doesn't look like it fits your energy as far as, like I said, it looks like you're a bit on the fence, but it says poised. There's the artwork for it, and the number is 48. So we'll see what this has to say. Okay, it says being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best, confidence. The Oracle's message: you can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to, your skills are sharp, you've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. So that's interesting there as far as, like I said, that Triumph card represents a completion in the past, and naturally, of course, when you finish one thing, that's room for something new to start. So maybe that's what that's pointing to there. The relationship specific message says, when you're confident and happy in your own skin, you are ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. You have nothing to prove right now. You are completely yourself and can handle anything. Love, friendships, and harmonious new connections are all present now or are coming in. You're ready to give and receive from the heart. This is a beautiful place to be. So interesting message there. I will say, if that's how that's playing out, then that Eight of Cups energy can represent, like I said, maybe for some of you, you do decide to pursue, like I said, maybe in the past you already pursued something that might have taken you away from this person, as far as geographically speaking. And then maybe you're enjoying it for a while, but then you're like, yeah, well, this is cool and all, but would I maybe have been better off in this connection, right? So that Eight of Cups, like I said, for some of you, usually it represents walking away to find something more fulfilling. So yeah, for some, you could view this as she's actually getting up to leave that connection. Like we think about with the traditional tarot, it's a person walking away from those cups. But another way this could be playing out too, like I said, this could actually represent you returning to them. So something to think about there. Hopefully that resonated for you guys. A bit of a weird reading, but hopefully I made sense of it, given that Mercury is still retrograde at the time of recording this. Once again, happy birthday, guys. Happy holidays as well, and I'll see you all next year. All right, bye.